Howdy! Welcome to Aspire Mountain Academy. I'm Professor Curtis, your instructor for this course in Introductory Statistics. In less than 10 minutes, this video provides additional practice using StatCrunch to find probabilities for the standard normal distribution. Let's get started. So, critical values are z-scores that separate unlikely values from those that are likely to occur. So, values that are likely to occur are here in the central part of our distribution, what we call the bulk of the distribution. So values that are out here in the tails of the distribution, those are going to be unlikely to occur. And we see that the probability of those values occurring is really small because the area underneath the density curve for those types of values here is very small, and so that's a small area, which means a small probability of occurrence. Now, of course, that area is bounded by a z-score, and so the z-score for that area that's really small is gonna correspond with that z-score, which is unlikely to occur, and therefore we call it a critical value. Now, we denote critical values with z sub alpha. So what this means is that the critical value z sub alpha has an area equal to alpha to the right. Typically, critical values are seen as area on the right tail of the distribution. This is just convention. So we're looking at the area to the right. Now, don't get confused. If you're using the z-score tables, then remember that's calculating the area to the left. So to get critical values from the z-score table, you've got to take the complement of that area to get the area under the curve to show you the actual z-score that you're looking for, that critical value. Let's say we're asked to find the value for z, so 0.025, so critical value for 2.5%. And so that means the area to the right of that z-score is going to be 2.5%. That's the area that we label with the Greek letter alpha. We calculated this, just moments ago. If you were actually watching the actual mini lecture, we saw how that was calculated. Okay, that's the 1.96 that we saw earlier, 2.5%. So critical values are values that we actually encounter pretty commonly when solving different types of probability problems using the using the standard normal distribution. So some critical values actually pop up quite frequently, and they're actually worth memorizing. Here's some common critical values that are shown here in the table. These values here, the 5% and the 2.5%, are the most common among all the critical values. And so you end up memorizing these just because you end up seeing them so many times in the problem. If you don't have it memorized and you have to calculate it, even if you're using something like StatCrunch, you keep seeing those numbers pop up all the time every time you calculate it. So the 1.64 is the critical value for 5% area, 1.96 critical value for 2.5%. These numbers pop up most frequently, but sometimes you see the others that are there in the table as well. Let's take a look at some example problems where we're calculating critical values. So if we're asked to find the critical value for z 0.25, we could go into StatCrunch and actually do that. So why don't you do that? Open up StatCrunch if you don't have it open already. Get inside that normal calculator and see if you can calculate your critical value here. Then come back and we'll see how well you did. Okay, so this is what you should have seen out of StatCrunch. Okay, remember this is the area under the curve is this little subscript here. So we're going to put that number here in this right field that corresponds with the area. We want the area to the right, so we have to make sure we use the greater than sign. And of course, StatCrunch gives you that visual cue up above your calculation to help you understand which side you're actually calculating the area for. The z-score actually pops up here, and that is your critical value. So in this case, it would be 0.674. So critical values typically use that right side area, and the critical value is the z-score that actually comes out. Let's try another example. Let's find the critical value for 10%. Okay, I hope this is what you got. So 1.28 is your critical value. That's the z-score that's bounding that area to the right, and the area in that right tail is equal to 10%. That's the subscript there with your z. So that's how you get that. So if you didn't get that, make sure you match those values up in StatCrunch so you know how to do it. What about z of 3%? Well, hopefully you get this coming out, 1.88. If you didn't get that, make sure your numbers match. Find out where you're going wrong with this so you can get this right. How about a z of 5%? Well, you should get the 1.64 that we saw earlier in the table. You'll see that come out in StatCrunch if you put the numbers in right. How about z of 2.5%? Again, you can see the tabulated value here, 1.96. This is where it comes from. So if you didn't get that, again, make sure you've got everything matching so you know how to do it. Let's look at one more, z of 1%. And again, we see the number that we saw earlier in the table, the 2.33. That's the boundary of that area here on the right, that z-score. And then the area inside that little bit there on the right, that's going to be the 1%. Let's take a moment to take what we've learned so far and examine where the empirical rule and the range rule of thumb come from. So remember before you've seen questions like, about what percent of the area between z-score of -1 and 1, or within 1 standard deviation of the mean, what percentage of that area is? Well, remember the empirical rule, you'll know that that's coming out from your actual standard normal distribution here, and that area corresponds to 68.3, which, again, the empirical rule said 68% was between what was within 1 standard deviation of the mean. Well, we can do the same thing within 2 standard deviations of the mean. So that's going to give us these values here from our table in StatCrunch. Notice the value here, 95% coming out. Again, that's what the empirical rule was telling us. Same thing with the 3 standard deviations. We can bring that out and get 99.7%. So these numbers from the empirical rule that you were memorizing earlier, they actually come from the standard normal distribution between 2 and 3 standard deviations from the mean value. The range rule of thumb also comes from our standard normal distribution. How many standard deviations do we use in the range rule of thumb? Well, there's 4 of them, right? 2 on the left and 2 on the right of the mean value. So 2 standard deviations from the mean, well, where does that come from? Okay, that comes from what we just saw earlier. So the range rule of thumb is actually, we could get a sense earlier that it was related to the empirical rule, but now we see that it actually comes from the same place the empirical rule comes from. It's from this use of a standard normal distribution. So that 5% threshold we were seeing for unusual values, yeah, that's the area that's in the tails of our distribution. If 95% is here in the middle, then 5% is here in the tails. And that 5% was listing the unusual values. So our threshold of 5% is coming from the standard normal distribution as well. And that brings us to the end of this mini lecture. I hope you found it helpful. You can find more mini lectures for this and other courses at AspireMountainAcademy.com. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.